Until the day in July 1949, when Meher Baba announced his new life to his close ones. It is quite unlikely that any of them had ever considered that he had an old life. He was simply the brilliant and arresting personality they knew and who had become the very center of their lives, their spiritual master. Meher Baba, or Merwan S. Irani by his given name, had been a sporting, handsome, and popular boy, a good student admired by his classmates, and from an early age, a God-realized soul. He had gathered followers from across the world, but had never declared publicly who he was. And now, at the age of 54, he seemed determined to dismantle everything he had built in an amazing lifetime of dynamic work. In January 1949, he began making statements like these.
I do not feel like caring for anything as to what remains and what goes.
In 1949, I have no trust left in anyone, including myself.
You people have been with me for so many years, and I am therefore responsible for your continued weaknesses. I am warning you not to succumb to these, to avoid everything being washed away during 1949.
90% of the mandali will have to leave me, and only 10% will remain with me.
We do not know what Baba's mandali, his close disciples, thought of these statements, but they were perhaps accustomed to enigmatic utterances from Baba, and having no other real choice, just let them wash over them or simply pass through their minds. But in July of the same year, they were to learn that these were no idle musings, but purposeful hints of what was to be a quantum shift in the tenor of their own lives as well as his. Baba said that to understand his ways with the mind was an impossibility. And nowhere was this more apparent than during this unique phase of his work that Baba called the new life. Was the purpose of the new life to give us a paradigm for living in the eternal present? Was it to help each of us, whom Baba says in reality is none but God himself, to learn that we have no one and nothing to rely upon but that self? Was Baba breaking attachments on behalf of us all to religious forms that had lost their connection with real spirituality? We can only speculate and wonder. Alba, when asked to describe the new life, gave this analogy.
Suppose you are on an ocean liner in the middle of the icy North Atlantic, and you hit an iceberg. In a matter of minutes, the ship will be gone. What then does it matter what your reputation is? How beautiful your wife is? How much money you have in the bank? How to atone for the sins of your life? In a few moments, you will be no more. If in the new life, you were willing to become a dead man, the life was easy. But if there was anything in this life you held on to, new life was tremendous suffering.
Merwan Shariat Irani was born in 1894 and unveiled to realize his own godhood by perfect master Hazrat Babajan at the age of 19. After spending 7 years with the perfect master Upasni Maharaj, who shepherded Merwan through the excruciating process of regaining consciousness of the gross world while simultaneously experiencing his godhood, Merwan began gathering a group of disciples who gave him the name Meher Baba, which means compassionate father. On July 10, 1925, Meher Baba began a self-imposed silence. Initially, he said he would continue this silence for 1 year, but in fact, he was still observing it 24 years later at the start of the new life. In the beginning, Baba wrote with chalk on a slate to communicate. But before long, he changed to pointing with his fingers at letters of the English alphabet that were painted on a small board. He later developed his own system of gestures and finger spelling. In the 1930s, Baba made more than a dozen trips to the West, where he made his initial contacts with those Westerners who would later become pivotal in spreading his message there. He also began contacting God-intoxicated souls, or musts, which work he continued through the 1940s, along with his work with children, the poor, and his own intimate disciples. In 1944, Baba established Merazad as his primary residence. And that is where our story begins. On June 22, 1949, Meher Baba undertook a period of seclusion that came to be known as the Great Seclusion. Beginning on July 1st, Baba intensified his seclusion, undergoing 9 days of intense suffering and fasting for more than 4 weeks. For days on end during his seclusion, he would scarcely sleep at all. About this seclusion, Baba said,
I have 100% reasons of my own to retire from tomorrow for 40 days. This should not be looked upon as either penance, austerities, or meditation. I am free in every way, but I am going to get myself bound voluntarily.
The day Baba ended his great seclusion, he met with Norina Machiavelli and Elizabeth Patterson to give them final instructions regarding his visit to America and the center they had developed for him in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. On August 1st, 1949, Baba disclosed the wholly unexpected and earth-shaking news that he intended to close down both Merazad and the original ashram at Mehrabad and give up all properties in his name. In addition, he said that most of those living with him could expect to be sent back to the world to earn their livelihood, and that only a few would go with him in the next phase of his work. This work, the new life, would begin October 16, 1949. This news was a painful blow to the Mandali living with Baba in Merazad, a bombshell as some described it. After 25 years of ashram life, the idea of being sent back into the world without being in Baba's presence was devastating.
What does that mean, oh Baba? What will happen to everyone?
I've waited my whole childhood for Baba to call me to be with him. And now, am I to be sent back?
No, Mani, don't worry. I don't think he'll send you back. What about the others? What might be in store? Whatever happens, you know Baba is always with us. We have to be very brave.
I'm the youngest. What? I'll probably be the first to be sent back. What would I do without Baba and all of you? If I go back to my family, will they arrange a marriage and expect me to live a worldly life? Oh, I don't want that. Auntie Mayra, please ask Baba to keep me with you. Please.
I will, Nehru. I will ask Baba. I will ask.
said only a few will go with him. He's calling it the new life.
But hey, Kaka, what does this mean? Baba has said that most of us will have to go back to our old life and our own livelihood.
Go back to our old life. What do you mean, Adi? So maybe I go to Bombay and I work in a tea stall and I save every paisa and then I'll open my own tea stall and then maybe a second and a third and I become a rich man. Where is God in all that? Where is Baba in all that?
Oh, just leave it, just leave it. Maybe the rest of you will have to do some work for once. Maybe not a bad idea for the lot of you.
Ah, Connie, look who's talking. You go to sleep fully clothed because you're too lazy to dress yourself in the morning.
Who has time when it's up to me to do the thinking for the bunch of you?
Sala, I've been doing plenty of thinking, mister. You know, our master, he begins a program and project, he gets it running perfectly. It's like a clock. And then he comes along with a hammer and he closes it down. You know the news today? He's planning to sell that property Merzog. And I've been working on that property for 2-3 weeks like a madman, pressing on, and now he knew from the beginning that he was going to close it down, and I've just finished.
Padre, brothers, what you say is so true. But what can we do? We exercised our own free will to become his slaves. Listen to these couplets he gave us. Kaka, here, you read them to everyone. People feel blessed to bathe in the water of the holy Ganges, but the Ganges itself bathes in the blood of one who has spilt it in love. Let Maya commit suicide, and let the world become its grave. Let this happen by the end of the year, and let all difficulties end, and only God remain.
In mid-August, Baba called his closest disciples together to Lower Mehrabad. Over the course of 6 days, he revealed many new details of the new life, which was to begin 2 months later.
I will be absolutely helpless in the true and literal sense of the word. Before that happens to me, I wish to make whatever arrangements are possible for the Mandalay under the limited means of our disposal. Thereafter, I will have to stop, and I shall stop, seeing to the material affairs of anyone.
I thank God that the time for which I have been waiting so long has at last arrived. The whole world will know how and to what extent I became helpless. I will come to know how far the Mandalay go with me.
Baba gave instructions for the sale or transfer of ownership of all properties in his name, and made extensive provisions for the maintenance of those whose duties or circumstances would prevent them from earning their own livelihoods. Sarosh Irani offered to undertake indefinitely the sole financial support for all the men and women going with Baba. Baba politely declined, saying,
The question of the maintenance of those who will remain with me after October 15th is neither provided for, nor is it to be provided for. I and those going with me have to suffer. We are now going to start without any protection, and will have to go begging.
Baba told Nariman and Meherji, into whose hands was given the ownership of Meherzad and Lower Mehrabad, respectively.
Now these properties are yours, not mine, and I have no objection to your keeping or selling them.
On August 16th, Baba met with the women monthly. Baba first asked the women each to promise to do as he ordered, and had each come before him and put her hand in his to seal the promise. Baba told the women that they must be willing to go wherever he decided, which could be returning to the world. Baba told Mera that in the new life she might be asked to perform various kinds of menial service, including washing the clothes of the men monthly. Baba told the women he might ask any of them to get married, even to an old sweeper man. The next day, Baba told the women he had decided to take 4 women with him on the new life, but he did not say which.
Meru, you get to go with Baba in the new life. What wonderful news!
Oh, go ahead. I'm so excited. But what about you? Have you heard anything?
Nothing yet.
Oh, go ahead. I hope you can come with us.
How can I live without you, Baba? I don't want to go back to the world. Baba, without you, there's no reason to live anymore. Baba, there's nothing out there for me. There's only you.
Go here, come quickly. Baba wants to know, what are you thinking?
I know I won't be going on the new life. I don't want to go back to the world.
Go here, Baba says to say you are mad. You will be the 4th woman on the new life. Come now.
Baba told all who were not accompanying him to give up all hope of ever seeing him again. All trouble is due to hoping, he said. Where there is no hope, there can be no disappointment.
The silent words of Meher Baba, I must eschew life to live the truth. Hear the silent words of Meher Baba, one must eschew life to find the new life, trusting in God. To dwell in the active present of sufficiency, in our helplessness, in our hopelessness, abides the treasure of kings. Oh yes, hear the silent words of Meher Baba, cease from amassing that which is passing. Hear the silent words of Meher Baba, cease this amassing, let go the passing, leave all but gone. We feed on the empty bowl of our deficiency, but in our helplessness, but in our hopelessness, real happiness finds its wings in the trust of God. Are all illusions and confusion swept away? In the reality of now we plant our say. For this gypsy life is our abiding in the trust of God. The eternity of now is whom we stay, and all creation is revealed as God's own play. Our gypsy wandering is truth in hiding.
On October 28, 1949, Baba distributed New Life Circular Number 1 to his close followers around the world. This turned out to be the first of many such circulars, which were meant to inform Baba's followers of the activities of him and his companions, and to convey essential instructions and orders.
Erich, look at all these telegrams. Everyone has questions about this circular that went out.
Well, what are they asking? Baba made every point so clear.
People want to say yes,
But Baba says yes or no. No question.
but some people don't feel that it's possible for them to go. They're afraid of losing their connection with Baba.
No, Baba says that. Baba said that you keep your connection with Baba. They'll be given specific orders. What else do they want?
Yes, but some of these loonies, they'll never say yes. They'll never say no. They won't decide. And then what do you do?
Then they're sunk, mister. Baba has said that anyone who doesn't go, they'll lose their connection with Baba, spiritual or otherwise, forever.
So then if you answer yes, everything is safe.
Not even close. Baba says the responsibility for anything that happens to you in this new life rests solely with you and not with him. I tell you, sir, I may be a magistrate, but I've never seen a lawyer who can close every loophole like this mayor, Baba.
In order to make this paramount condition of individual responsibility absolutely clear, Baba said he wanted each one to consider a number of points.
In this new life of complete renunciation, you will be utterly at the mercy of all kinds of good and bad treatment that may be meted out to you. Whatever happens, you and you alone will be responsible before God.
If by accompanying Baba, your dependents or your business or private affairs suffer in any way, you and you alone will be held responsible before God.
If, due to physical or mental exhaustion, exposure to extreme weather, lack of food, lack of water, bad water, infection of any kind, if you fall ill or die, you and you alone will be responsible before God.
If Baba should give you any order that may result in your being sent to prison, or in your being assaulted, or even killed, you and you alone will be held responsible before God.
If you should disobey Baba, and he should send you away from him, you will not hold Baba responsible before God for your future, whatever that future may be.
If, as a result of your having been sent away by Baba, you should take any misguided step, such as becoming addicted to alcohol or drugs, if you should commit any desperate act, such as suicide, or do anything that may lead you sooner or later to death, you and you alone will be held responsible before God.
But in addition to all of that, Baba has given such strict orders about obedience. How is it possible? We are just men. How is it possible? No slip-ups. No mistakes are made.
No. Baba says that if you break an order by accident, he will forgive you. He also said that he will not consider thoughts of lust, anger, or greed as mistakes.
Yes, but make no mistake, mister. He may give you any order. You will have to obey it immediately. He may tell you to kick him hard. He may even ask you to spit on him. You'll have to do it without hesitation.
And you'll have to do it without the slightest emotion. Or he might send you away.
So, Dunn, whether you are yes walla or no walla.
He's too lazy. There may be walking involved.
Listen, I know this Mayor Baba as well as any of you. Probably even better. I've been friends with him since we were kids. He's gonna give us orders, and then he's gonna change them, and then he's gonna change them again, and then he's gonna change them again, and then he's gonna change them again. He's gonna push us to exhaustion and then some more. I have a wife and daughter depending on me, and believe me, my finances are not good in shape. In good shape. Nor is my heart.
So then you won't go.
Of course I'm going. I wouldn't miss it for anything.
You are right, Dr. Gunny. There are two things that are absolutely clear you can depend on. Hardship and change of plan.
But Padre, you've been through everything with Baba. You're going, won't you?
Make no mistake, mister. Each one must examine their own hearts.
But Padre, Baba has said, whoever doesn't go should never expect to see him again.
We have to look in our own hearts and souls. As for me, I am a no-walla.
Ultimately, there were 21 yes wallas, along with the arrangement wallas appointed by Baba, Nariman, Meherji, and Sarosh. Before everyone gathered, Baba's oath was read out.
Before God, the Absolute, whom those who have realized know as their own self, and whom believers believe to be all-pervading, all-knowing, all-powerful, all-loving, and all-merciful. Before this infinite existence, Baba, on behalf of himself and his followers, asks forgiveness for all mental, physical, and moral weaknesses called sins, and for all lies and false dealings, and for all impure and selfish actions.
Before this infinite God, who ever was, ever is, and ever will be, Baba decides today on the new life that he and those who accompany him will enter from October 16, 1949, and lead on till the end. This new life will be based absolutely on all that has been dictated by Baba in the circular of conditions. And Baba invokes God to make him stand by it as firmly and steadfastly as his companions in his new life are required to do.
On October 5th, the Yeswalas, obeying Baba's order, arrived at Merazad to begin their final preparations for setting off on the new life. 5 days later, Baba issued a shocking message to his followers throughout the world.
Mira Baba ends his old life of multifarious activities and with a few companions begins his new life of complete renunciation and absolute helplessness from October 16, 1949. Although Baba's and his companions' new life will be known to everyone and their whereabouts will be no secret, no one should try to see Baba or his companions for any reason whatsoever, as Baba will not see any of them, nor allow his companions to do so. No one should try to communicate with Baba or his companions under any circumstances or for any reason whatsoever.
On October 12th, Baba told the companions,
One little thing which can be of great help to me in my new life. You, being my companions, can easily do that. Keep the company lively.
On October 13th, Baba asked Dr. Gunny to compose a ghazal of complaint which Gunny entitled A Jeremiah to Saki. After Gunny had completed his ghazal, Baba gave it to Coxaheb with instructions for him to write a reply.
Splash the wine, let dreary day be gone, and moon to shine. Let us clink the wine cups in our sacred rite. Let us praise the sake with all of our might. Drink now, for the end is near. We've seen the sign. The froth that rises here will soon decline. Unrose to the tavern dear. Soon death will die.
Oh, sake, what became of the tavern and the cup you once held supreme?
This cup you once held supreme.
The traffic of wine is abolished now and washed away in the stream. Oh, promise breaker, you fled from your pledges you made in your whole life regime.
You made in your whole life regime.
Oh, tavern inmates, what is this Jeremiah that we hear today? Who is this mastiff who bewails his woes and gives tavern secrets away? Oh, fool, did you think that love was never work and only play?
I did.
Companions of the tavern are meeting tonight. The blue companions of the tavern are meeting tonight. Uncork the demi-john and slash the wine. Let dreary day be gone and moon to shine. Clink the wine cups in our sacred rite. Let us praise the sake with all of our might. Drink now, for the end is near. We've seen the sign. The froth that rises here will soon decline. On those to the tavern dear, soon death will come.
Oh, game of destruction for your countless deceits. Do you feel no remorse, no shame?
Do you feel no remorse, no shame?
You dangle baubles before our eyes and set our hearts aflame. Oh, mesmerizing fabulist, who can match you in this con game?
Who can match you in
This con game.
Oh, shameless one, you slander him who has only done you good. His tricks and ruses were meant to entice you onto the deeds you should. Though you've lived with the Lord of Wisdom, it seems you've never understood.
The blue companions of the tavern are meeting tonight. The blue companions of the tavern are meeting tonight. Uncork the demi-john and slash the wine. Let dreary day be gone and moon to shine. Let us clink the wine cups in our sacred rite. Let us praise the sake with all of our might. Drink now, for the end is near. We've seen the sign. The froth that rises here will soon decline. On those to the tavern dear, soon death will come.
A free thinker, I endure with you, a life of test after test.
A life of test after test.
Why now overthrow the curriculum as if it were all just in jest? But if you are bent on tyranny, for me resignation is best.
Yes, we think resignation is best.
Oh, Munsif, stop spinning these webs of words. You cannot cage this lion. A dog like yourself, be grateful that you've been given a mat to cry on. And yet somehow you've won a place. You remain an errant scion.
The companions of the tavern are meeting tonight. The companions of the tavern are meeting tonight. Uncork the demijohn and splash the wine. Let dreary day become and look to shine. Let us clink the wine cups in our sacred rite. Let us praise the Saki with all of our might. Bring down for the end is near. We sing the sign. A prophet rises here to soon recline. On those to the tavern here, soon death will come.
After all personal decisions and Baba's final determinations, those to accompany Baba on the new life included 16 men and 4 women. Minukaris was told that, in spite of staying home in Pakistan, he could be in the class of Yeswalas. He was given demanding orders by Baba. Padri declined to go on the new life. Baba showed apparent surprise at this news, but Baba felt he was needed at Mehrabad, and that it was Baba's wish that he remain there. The days leading up to the start of the new life were filled with great activity and intensity, as well as countless last-minute business matters and details that needed attention. Ownership of Mirazad and Mehrabad was transferred away from Baba, and virtually everything that could be sold was sold, much of it for pennies on the dollar. In the midst of all this activity, one day, a Swami appeared at Mehrabad.
Hello, brother. What brings you here? Baba's not seeing anyone right now. Yes, I've heard he's a great master. I'm seeking God realization. Will you ask if he will see me? Wait here. Sir, you're very fortunate. Baba agrees to see you. Baba says, if you want God realization, stay here with the Mandali for 7 days and relax. Baba says if you follow his instructions 100%, he will give you God realization. Will you do this? Yes, I will absolutely do this. Please, make yourself at home. Oh. with this mayor Baba for 25 years, yet he has not taught you manners? How can such a God give me God realization? Get out of my way!
Where's the Swami? Baba wants to see him immediately. What? He's not here? But today's the day he's getting God realization.
Those joining Baba in the new life were allowed to take only a small set of personal belongings.
I say, Kaka, I have 3 very good shirts here. Am I permitted to take 3?
No, Don. 2 shirts only.
2 shirts for such a journey? What about socks?
3 pair only.
3.
Towels?
1.
1?
Connie, as you know, I can't go on the new life, but it would mean a lot to me if something of mine could accompany you.
Of course, brother. I'll be happy to take it. And most likely, I'm probably really gonna need it.
Oh, Mara, I'm so excited. Tomorrow we begin our new life. But will we never see our loved ones again? Makes me so sad to think that.
No, don't worry, Money. We've seen time and time again, whatever our fears, it all comes out right with Baba. You have to be very brave.
But, Mara, I've heard some of the men talking about some circular that was distributed. And such complicated conditions. How are we to follow all this?
Go
We weren't even given a copy of it.
Yes, Gokar, Baba made it clear that's only for the men.
Oh,
We will be under his direct order.
oh, men. Not so good?
Oh, go here. Of course it's good. But Baba has talked so much about hardship and suffering. I pray that I'll be strong enough.
Yes, we all pray for that, Mother. And by Baba's grace, it all is possible.
Precious beloved, though the years are flowing on, each time I look at you, your face is new, although the old life is washed away and gone. What is the difference when I have you? Your lovely sight is all that I can see. Your happiness is everything to me. Your smile delights my heart and sets me free to
concludes part 1 of our story. Please rejoin us at 2 o'clock for the next exciting chapter.